I have my tea. We voted today.
Oh, I don't have my sticker on.
They
It's
gave
over there.
Mahal a sticker for voting because I'm that girl that took her dog in her purse to the voting
Yeah.
booth.
Yeah. Honestly, I said this to Meadow the other day, guys. If you're not following Meadow on Instagram, which like obviously you are if you're listening to the podcast, but in the off chance that you're not, you have been on your
Thank you.
fucking shit lately.
Thank you. I think what's been, sorry if I just whacked the mic with my tea and everyone heard that. I was telling Gabby, I think what's been helping me is focusing less about my life and just sharing personal things because that doesn't feel good recently and just
Hmm.
really just ripping as much mental health shit throughout the day that I think about that I'm talking about. Like I obviously am having these conversations with you constantly and clients constantly,
Mahal
but
screaming in the background.
every time. But I'm trying to get better about ripping them on Instagram. So thank you. You're the
No, you're doing
blueprint.
great.
So
I'm
anything you
not the
do, I just
blueprint.
copy.
I'm not the blueprint. And see, it's funny because you're inspiring me because I feel like I'm in a rut with social media where I feel like everything that's on my story is either like reposting a picture that I just posted of myself or a like dark meme. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
same.
Like there's
Uh
just
huh.
like
Uh
I'm
huh.
not posting anything. I don't know. And I mean,
Well, I
obviously
have a
like I'm
question
never
for
going to
you.
stop posting those memes because they make me laugh, but what?
No, the memes are the best. I have a question for you because I was telling this to Michaela. I think for me, my relationship with social media has changed a lot. I mean, one, it's always been for work. Like, I don't follow friends. Friends will be like, oh, you didn't see it on Instagram. Like, I don't, if you're my friend, I don't look at your story. Like, I'm on for work, ripping shit and leaving. Sorry. But also because of that, I think now with the podcast, like I love long format so much. I love doing this with you so much. I love the
Mm,
ability to like have a very long, thoughtful conversation and like address all or a lot of different sides of things
right.
and move on. Long story short, long format has been really speaking to me, which has me being like, shit, maybe I want to try YouTube again once and for all.
I think you
But
should
has
because
that affected you in the same like are you loving the podcast and so the short form is that clicking with you in the same way it's clicking with me was my question.
I don't think that I mean, now that you're saying it, yes, I hate nothing more than reels, for example.
Yeah,
Like they
oh
I spent
god.
a nice hour muting people yesterday
Nice.
on my Instagram. I don't think it's that. I think it's like I don't see okay, so recently I did a newsletter article thing for this company called Thing Testing that they just like test different brands or whatever. And my friend Emma works there.
Cool.
And basically they interviewed me for it and had me like give my like favorites. And you guys always ask us about that. So like go read that
Yeah.
little thing that I
Yeah.
did. But anyway, they asked like who are the people that you look to? And immediately I was like, Amrit and Marta. Like they're the
Duh.
only
Yeah.
people, not only people, but like it's really people like that I actually like enjoy the content
Yep.
that they're producing because first of all, especially Amrit, like I really relate to her humor. I steal so many memes from her.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
I like Amrit's content and I like same thing with Marta's. Like it's very when they're giving product advice, it's like matter of fact, this is what we
Yeah.
like. But then
Yeah.
aside from that, like the lifestyle content is very real. Like I don't enjoy it's just I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just not, I don't enjoy consuming content that is like super, super curated. It's just not relatable to me. And so I just frankly don't feel inspired by the things on Instagram these days. I
Yeah.
think that I'm trying to learn the boundary of sharing my life because I like sharing. I think I like sharing more than you do. I think we've had this conversation like
Yeah.
offline. I
Totally.
enjoy sharing things. I think it's the little like unhinged piece of my personality that like I like doing
Totally.
that.
Totally.
But
Totally.
at the same time, I really believe that like it's important for me to keep pieces of myself sacred and I never want myself like to become like a full-blown commodity. And like
Hmm.
we talk Meadow and I talk about all the time, like a big lesson I learned from my boss when I was working at AD, which she was always say, when the sales team makes me show up for a million things and like it's like they're pimping me out. She's like, I no longer am valuable because I'm
Hmm.
everywhere. You know, like if
Hmm.
you can get access to something everywhere, like what's the value? I don't know. So I've just been thinking about that a lot lately, I think, and like trying to find a nice balance of like, I
Hmm.
want to share my life. I don't really have an interest in like niching down. I think the way that you're doing it is like perfect because it's what you actually want to be doing and it's valuable. And like, I like the
Hmm.
way that you've been posting the last like 2 weeks. I'm like, this is my favorite. Like you're my best friend, but I'm like, she's my
Thank
favorite influencer.
you.
Like
Thank
it's
you.
so
Oh my
entertaining.
gosh.
It's
And you know
so
what's
valuable.
I think what's cool about that too is like you and I have been listening to people like Skinny Confidential and people that talk about brands and influencing in this kind of work because we've always been interested in it for a long time. And people really do say, niche down, find your niche, start small,
Mhm.
whatever. And you and I have never been drawn to that per se. But recently, it's just, I think the reason why I'm having fun with it now, and I'm glad that it shows, is because it was so fucking natural. Like, it wasn't me being like, let me force myself to niche because that's what I'll get. But like, I never did that because I didn't want to. And now all of a sudden, recently, I'm like, you know what? It does feel really good to just hone in and only talk about psychology and spirituality and personal development. Like,
Yeah.
and only exclusively sharing on that and not really sharing much else. It feels really good. It feels like a healthy boundary. It feels like it's supportive to me. Other people are liking it. People are like engaging with asking me more questions in the DMs, which is
Yeah.
fun. Like, but the other, I think who else? I don't know. I can't speak today. I got to finish this tea. I think as someone else whose stories I love that does a good job of this, that's also not necessarily niche, Sophia Kelly. Sophia Kelly
Yeah.
does a really good job of, at least it seems like, posting more than she consumes. And two, she's really inspired me in her way that you've said working with Sophia Kelly is spending an hour watching her remove her male
Yeah.
followers. Like that has felt like such a safe space. So I feel like I've also been trying to post a lot more for the girls and the gays because like, it just feels better. I like it better. I like talking about my periods enough so that men stop following me.
I think also you're just like, I mean, you're an adult, but like you're adulting. Like the way that you're doing social media, like you're adulting. You're having really good boundaries with it. You're
Thank
like,
you.
I'm in this phase of my life where like this is sacred. This is what I want to
Yeah.
be taught. Like this is grown
Thank
behavior,
you.
I
Thank you
think.
so much.
But I've been really enjoying consuming it. Also, harsh segue. This is
Okay.
our last episode of season 2.
Oh yeah. By the way, this is the season finale. So bye.
Hi. Yeah. Welcome to.
But we're coming back sooner than last time.
Yeah. Okay. I want to
Welcome
do
to
this.
what?
I was just to say I want to do this in the beginning because sometimes
Okay.
people don't stay until the end, which like shade, but like not shade, but like shade. So last episode of season 2. Season 3 is coming soon. It's coming mid-December. We are going to be posting consistently on Patreon. We already post exclusive episodes on Patreon that are really fun, but
So much more tea.
Yeah, we're going to up them to weekly, especially like during this hiatus. So if you don't want to miss our pretty little voices, head on over to Patreon. We also post full video there too.
Yeah.
And season 3 has so many fun things in store, so many fun things that are going to be happening on Patreon. We just really like the model, the community safe space access type of thing that is going on Patreon. So that's why we're like pushing it a lot.
The vibes on Patreon is just,
it's immaculate. People talk to each other.
Immaculate.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's the new group chat. Remember, okay, people get really confused because we always reference group chat because when we first started, we started a little group chat for people to support each other and build this community, but we didn't realize that Instagram max the amount of people you can have in a group chat. So although that energy is now moved to Patreon and we're kind of creating that same old safe space vibe community friendships over there, there is like an original girl group chat that we call it. So it's two different things, but all the energy is now on Patreon. And
Sis,
for the love of
get your
God,
dog.
you were asleep? You were asleep the whole time.
This dog.
And the second. This is going to be really rough for us because she's been screaming to just hump her toy all day.
I mean, get your sister, but like not while we're recording. I wanted to talk to you about the Selena Gomez documentary that came out.
Oh, yes, because I haven't seen it and you have, and I'm dying to hear about it.
Okay.
I've also seen some shit on TikTok.
Right, which is why I want to talk about it because I have
good.
many a thought.
Okay.
So if you live under a rock, Selena Gomez came out with a documentary. I believe it's on HBO Max. No, it's on Apple TV. And it's all about, they've been documenting it for like, I don't know, like 6 years since like, I think like 2016 or something.
Oh,
and
wow.
because they had originally started filming as part, they thought they were going to be doing like a concert movie. And then it like turned into this.
Interesting.
So that's what's been going on. I have so many thoughts. I think on one side, it is really valuable that they are showing like this side of her. I think that she has a lot of power and like a large platform. And I think talking openly about being bipolar and her mental health struggles like is extremely valuable and important. That said, it has been so interesting to watch. And this is the narrative on Instagram and TikTok that I've seen, or on TikTok really. It's been so interesting to watch a group of people watch a documentary all about mental health. I saw I think it's that podcast Not Skinny Not Fat, that influencer that said this. She basically was like, it's so interesting to watch people watch a documentary about mental health and watch, this woman talk about the demise of her mental health and how social media and how public perception has played into it. And now we're sitting here doing the same thing to her friend that's in the documentary that people are like pissed about. And so the whole
That's what I've
narrative.
seen all the TikToks
Mhm.
about. Yeah, explain
So
it to me.
the whole narrative has been like, Selena needs new friends. This girl Raquel sucks. Like, she's the worst friend ever. Blah, 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 blah. Here's my input.
And this is not the friend that donated the kidney or whatever.
No. Apparently, they're
Okay.
not friends anymore. The girl that
Okay.
donated the kidney.
Yeah, I heard
So
that.
Raquel is like her friend that's in everything, and she's in her show and whatever. First of all, she was an executive producer on the project, which means she had input. Second of all, Selena continuously talks about the ups and downs of her mental health, and clearly she has a very small group of people around her. We do not know what it is like to be that person next to her who has to watch her go through all of this and constantly be there to lift her up and be her support system. Like, we don't know what this girl is going through in order to support her friend. And like, it's exhausting. I feel like people don't talk about that enough because
It's true.
they feel this guilt around like, well, we're not the ones going through that big of a struggle, but like, we still have mental health, we still have stuff that we're going through, and it's taxing and draining to do it. We're not saying we're not going to do it. And it's the same thing that, you know, you always tell me of like, I need to support myself when I'm trying to support someone else. It's like, you put your mask on first, right? So like, we don't know what Raquel is going through that like either, you know, has her react that way. We're also seeing a short clip. Like, we don't know the conversation prior that like then made her be passive aggressive. Like, we don't.
Can you describe the energy of her or what people are saying? Because I saw that narrative on TikTok. The only clip that I've seen thus far is them playing We're Not Really Strangers, because it's Iman and Kareen's game, our girls. And I watched that a little bit and I watched what she had to say and I was like, this
That
sounds like
is
an
valuable.
honest friend.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
I didn't get it, but it was the only clip I've seen. So what is she saying, or what behaviors are people picking apart as being a bad friend?
There's like a scene where she walks in, like Selena's like going through it, like at like a work thing, and Raquel like walks into the room, like struts in and like doesn't say hi to her and just like sits down, and Selena like rolls her eyes at the camera and is like, "Hi, Raquel," and she's like, "Hi, Selena." Like, it's very passive aggressive. And then there's like another scene where like they had just come from like a trip in Africa and then they were working in London, and then Raquel's telling her like, "We have so and so's birthday dinner like the night we get back," and Selena's like, "Well, I'm not going to that. Like, I have to shoot a music video the next day. Like, I'm not doing that." And she's like, "Oh, well, like I thought you'd like want to come." Like, she basically is like the way that it looks from the outside is like she's trying to make her feel like, "Why aren't you coming?" Like, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know either of these fucking people. And like, how many times do we have annoying, passive aggressive, bitchy conversations with our friends? Like, we just happen to watch one.
You and I remember very poignantly, and I honestly think we've even talked about it on the pod, that conversation we had on your balcony that one night about how it's, and we don't even use this word, how it's fucking insane that people think that they have a right to form an opinion on someone or know exactly who they are and what their personality is after seeing like a 1-hour video about.
No,
like,
it's crazy to me.
How in the world do we think that we know people enough to like have common discourse about other people's lives? It's actually psychotic.
No,
like,
it's actually
we don't
psychotic.
know them.
It's crazy.
We don't know them.
It's really crazy to me that we, exactly what you said, attribute so much time and energy to pick apart people that we don't know, situations that we don't know, like. And it's not even like in a jokey way. It's like in a genuinely malicious way. So I think that this friend that's getting destroyed is frankly super fucking brave for being an EP on the project and saying, you know what? Keep these clips in where I know I look like a bitch, but I know what actually happened. I know that I'm actually, whatever it was that she was doing, whether she was supporting her friend, because by the way, people who like struggle with addiction or like, you know, are going up and down with their mental health, like the way that Selena has, you need people around you who aren't yes men. Like, you need people around you to actually push you and make you better in the way that she was doing in that scene with the We're Not Really Strangers game. Like, she's pushing her.
Yeah. And I want to circle back because you said that at the beginning too. And it was so validating because I think my entire high school was like the root of all my trauma. For people that are new here, high school was the root of all my trauma. Like, my younger brother had severe mental health issues. My older brother died by suicide. My mom and dad got diagnosed with cancer in the same month. Then my dad died. Then my grandma died. Like, it was it all. And I felt in that entire era that I was like the passenger. Like I wasn't the one shit was happening to, but I was the one directly attached to where all the shit was going down, like either as the daughter or the sister or the friend, whatever it was. And I felt very alone in my experience of being like, it's not directly happening to me. It's not mine to speak on, but like I am so greatly affected by this.
Mhm.
And I felt very alone in that perspective. So I think it's so beautiful that you call that out, because to be someone that's so closely enmeshed with someone else with severe mental health challenges, no matter how loving the relationship is, like it is fucking challenging.
And that
It's
doesn't make you
fucking
a bad
challenging.
person to admit that
And
or
it
say it
doesn't
out
make you a
loud.
bitch. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't make you a bitch for like having perspective and challenging your friends and wanting the best for them. Because that was the one clip I saw, was her being like, I think you know what your life purpose is and your life
Mhm.
pattern and what makes you feel good, but I don't think you always choose that. And I was like, that's such a beautiful insight for a friend to be like, I watch you sometimes struggle with not being able to choose that. And that's why I'm here to help support. Like you and I would say that to each other in a fucking heartbeat.
Mhm. Mhm.
If
Mhm.
if that was ever going on, I would count on you, and I know I can count on you as my best friend to call me out if I'm doing something and not taking a line to action with like what I believe in or what's best for me.
Right.
Because I know you fucking care about me that deeply.
Right.
Like
Especially if
that's what
you're
I'm
like
looking for with
in the
you,
throes of
you
an
know?
episode or whatever it is that you're going through.
Exactly.
It really
Exactly.
frustrated me. And like, I mean, again, you and I had that conversation on the balcony. I love our listeners and like you guys are all so supportive and everyone is just no
Totally.
one acts this way. But I
No,
find it really
TMV's level 1.
interesting. It's a really funny social experiment to like
Mhm.
watch the way
Mhm.
in which people get so viscerally either upset or like excited, whatever it is. I understand it's part of the human experience to like be empathetic and whatever, but it is a new level of like, what a waste of your energy. Like, what are like, why can't you just like walk? Like, I just don't
It
get
must
it.
be really hard. It must be really hard to
Yeah.
be that greatly affected by people that have nothing to do with you. That must be
Also,
very, very challenging.
bro, and then also there were, I mean, side note, but there were also so many scenes where like she just walks. I mean, Selena Gomez is like the most followed person in the world. Like she
Mhm.
walk all the scenes where she just walks outside and it's just immediate screaming. Like I got anxiety watching it and I was like, I just
Wow.
cannot imagine. And so then when people are like, well, you chose this life. Like you didn't choose to get followed around by a bunch of grown men in their cars. You didn't choose to be harassed. You didn't choose for people to like invade your
Mhm.
personal space and boundaries. And you know what? Like she's and her and a bunch of other celebrities, they're swallowing that in order to use their platform for good and use their
Mhm.
platform to get out another message or like make
Mhm.
the art that they like to make. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
It I just think we all need to have a little bit more compassion and respect for one another because it was so infuriating to read the comments that I was reading. And also it's just like, ladies, what are we doing here? Like
Tearing down other
they're
women
just pitting
constantly
us
for that?
against
Like,
each
it's just
other and like for
yeah.
what? Like we're doing it to
For
ourselves.
what?
We're doing it to ourselves.
How did you feel, maybe this is part of the conversation or not, how did you feel about the, like, mental health advocacy and the representation in general?
I think that she's made an enormous impact on talking about mental health. Just if you see the way that the narrative has shifted within like, I don't know, from like 2018 to now is
Huge.
huge. I think what
Monumental.
she's doing
Yeah.
with Wonder Mine is wonderful. I think, what she did with Rare first is wonderful. Like Selena
Mhm.
has done amazing things for the mental health narrative. And I think that this documentary will really inspire so many people because she really fucking shows like those moments where you're just like this poor girl and like you
Mhm.
relate to her and you're
Mhm.
just like this is
Mhm.
fucking rough. So I think overall I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. I
Cool.
definitely teared. Like I thought it was great. I think everybody should watch it.
Okay, maybe I'll watch that tonight. It's a nice rainy day.
Yeah, watch it. I'm
That
curious
could
to
be
hear your
fun.
thoughts on it.
Yeah. Ooh, I
Okay.
can't wait to unpack that with you. Fun.
Anyway,
Thank you for
should we talk
sharing.
about what happened to you today?
Yeah. I went and I voted
Yay.
for the woman's right to choose what she wants to do with her body.
Per.
That was the most important thing to me on the ballot. Just saying.
hmm
We're allowed to have things that are important to us. I don't like being a single issue voter, but anyway, I went and I voted. And then I was walking Mahal over to the car to go on our cute little dog walk as always. And boom, baby, second time in a year and a half that your girl's catalytic converter was stolen.
Most people don't know what that is. Tell them what happened.
So there's a thing in your car that does something, and apparently it has metals in it that are valuable. And so since COVID, certain older cars have been targeted for stealing the catalytic converter because people can basically just like sell them for parts or metals or something and make money on it. And so basically that was I've already been through the whole thing. You know, it took like a year and a half to get my car back. My car's never worked ever since. Like Gabby knows it is ever since I got it back, it breaks down every month because they stole so much wiring and other things and they couldn't figure out what was piecing together. And we just finally I had like a month of bliss of thinking like we finally figured it out.
Yeah.
And it was stolen again. But I called the AAA guy. You know, there's like a deductible, but they'll cover it, which is great. Hopefully I just have to pay out of pocket to like put a cage around it, I guess, so it doesn't get stolen again. But I think
like a lock?
like this. Yeah, no, it's literally like a giant cage that they like weld on over it so people can't steal it.
Good.
Michaela has a friend that will do it for me. But I basically, like, the second it happened was like, well, that adds up. Like, I just immediately I was, what can I do? I just immediately surrendered to the experience. I was like, whatever. I called AAA, and Gus, my guy Gus, told me that I was the first person he's ever talked to that had a good attitude about it.
He said, I have a mental health podcast.
It made me feel better. Yes, seriously. But I think one of the reasons why I felt so inclined to just be like, c'est la vie, was because I think I've talked about it before. I'm reading The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, and he also wrote The Untethered Soul, which was one of my favorite books for anxiety ever. It was one of the first books to kind of articulate separating yourself from the inner voice in your head, your internal roommate, as I called it. Inspired those blog posts I made for the Local Optimist years ago. It's his entire life narrative, like since the 80s, about how he thought it occurred to him one day in meditation how wild it is that kind of the concept of co-creation, and that we decide to take life and try to force it to fit into our likes and dislikes and what we want for ourselves and the way we see our life going, as opposed to understanding that the universe is so much more knowledgeable than we can be, and just kind of surrendering to life's flow, obviously with boundaries and different things in place, but just kind of welcoming opportunities that come to you despite your preferences just to see what you can make of them. And it literally, as a fucking yogi that hosted Ram Dass and all my favorite people in the world and like lived in the middle of the woods in Florida for years, also grew like a hundreds of millions of dollar business just by surrendering to the flow of life, and just like the different things that can come about when you never expected it, and how the universe can dream even bigger than you ever saw yourself. And so it's just really beautiful. And so it just made me be like, well, who's to say maybe I would have gone in a car accident today if
That's
the car
first
was
thing we
working.
said
Like,
to each other.
you never, exactly. Like you and I so believe in that. Like it's all aligned. It all happens for a reason, even if you don't see the reason now. And I know people really feel that some type of way with that kind of narrative. But for me, it provides a lot of comfort, and just being like, I surrender that I don't know everything that's going on. Like, I'm not God. I'm not the universe. I don't know what's up. So who am I to say and have an opinion on? I'm just doing the best with what cards I'm dealt and having a good attitude about it. So,
I love that you just
me.
said that. What did I love that you just said? It just came out of your mouth. Yeah,
What
I
was
love
it?
that you just said that, like, oh, okay, I got it. We're back.
Okay.
Brain was not braining for a second. I love that you said that you're like, and that's just what brings me comfort. Because I think that sometimes people get so, like, when they hear us talk, and they're like, oh, they're so woo-woo, or like, people are so woo-woo. Like, or like people that like, you know, partake in religion and like not the harmful parts of it and whatever. Why do you care if something brings somebody comfort? If that brings you peace, like if it's fucking placebo, I don't give a shit. It's still making me feel good.
Placebo works 99% of the time, babes.
Right.
Don't knock it till you try it.
But like, I don't need the answers to the universe. In fact, I don't really want them. So I would love to just let myself feel happy, let myself surrender. And if that's doing nothing for me other than like, you know, self-soothing, then 'tis what it is.
The same kind of way that we were talking about this documentary and not knowing friends and who are we to say, like, who am I to judge the way someone finds comfort and moves through something? Like, just because it doesn't bring me comfort doesn't mean it's not completely valid for you.
As long as you're not hurting anybody.
Exactly.
As long as you're not hurting anybody else.
And hopefully not hurting yourself.
Yeah.
I completely agree. So anyway, that was my perspective on it. So I'm trying to lean in. We'll see. I definitely am going to need a new car eventually. Just waiting for the material abundance to come through to do it. Everyone sign up for Patreon so your girl can have a car.
The Patreon becomes like the GoFundMe for Meadow's car.
So sad.
No.
Which is like kind of a joke, but kind of not. But anyway, but whatever.
I'm like, here's my Venmo.
Yeah. Cash App. Any sugar daddy? Dude, you know what? Maybe it's because I have been more active on Instagram recently. Have I told you I've gone like a few sugar daddy DMs?
Welcome to the club, sister. That's fun for you.
I know you've been getting them forever, but it was fun for me. I was like, really, what about me posting about burying my period blood in the ground to return the nutrients to the soil makes you think that I want a sugar daddy?
Listen, don't yuck someone's yum, okay? You don't know what they like. Maybe they want to help you dig that hole and bury that period blood into the ground together.
Honestly, that's kind of the sugar daddy I want.
I know. You want a sugar daddy who's going to like do witchcraft and like wizardry with you.
Oh my God, I would die.
Someone with like a Harry Potter fetish?
Yeah. Oh my God. That'd
Hit
be
Meadows
so much
DMs.
Fun. So I guess that's kind of what I'm unpacking. What are you unpacking?
Okay, so I did new headshots with Nesrin. We love Nesrin.
Yes,
Nesrin
you
did
looked gorgeous.
Did I send them to you? No, I haven't.
No, but I saw a little bit of behind the scenes, and we all saw your Adriana Lima makeup last week.
Thank you. Anyway, I got them back. Nesrin slays every single time.
Always. You have to send them to me.
And the thing is, I hesitate to say this because like I'm gonna post some of them, so like I don't want people to like look at them and be like, oh, this is what she thought. But like this is my own personal thing that I'm going through. I immediately was like, oh my God, I've gained so much weight. Like that was the first thing that I noticed, like in my face. I was just like, wow, my face. And like I think I look pretty. I like the photos, like
sure,
great.
Sure.
But I definitely was like, oh, I've gained weight in my face. You took a moment. Because like Mike, I mean, I know, you and I spoke about it, like new relationship weight. It always happens. Like
love chub.
Yeah, like it happens. And like it happened to him and like it happened to me. And like we both, individually have been through our own body stuff. So it's been really fun, like working through it together. But yeah, I definitely like noticed it. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to move like through the idea that like I would like to lose a little bit of weight and like I want to be working out more, but I don't really want to change the way I'm eating. I mean, I definitely was like eating a lot of like, we were eating out a lot. That's the thing. We were eating out a lot and I was eating a lot of like sugar. I've been cooking a lot
eating
more.
a lot of sugar recently.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm such a sugar whore, and like that's also a PCOS thing. Which, like, by the way, if you have PCOS and didn't know this, like, fucks with your insulin levels, and like you crave sugar a lot. And I didn't know that until I read Alyssa Vitti's book, and I honestly cried when I read it because I was like, I always felt like I like had a problem. Like I was like, what is going on? But anyway, I'm trying to figure out how I want to approach this step of like, just like. Because like I am healthy. That's the thing. Like I'm eating well. Like I eat well when I cook and things like that. So
and
like
you do work out. You exercise more than me.
Yeah, but I haven't been. And like I'm not like a big like walker. Like you walk every day with Mahal. You walk like at least like 2 miles every day with Mahal.
I walk a lot.
I don't. Like I'm a lazy bitch. So I haven't been working out the way that I normally do. So
how do you feel in your body?
Not great. That's the thing. Is like I don't feel great. Like I feel tired. I feel sluggish. Like sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like acutely aware of like body parts. Like if that sounds weird, like I'll be like, oh, like this feels heavy or like this feels like almost like sore without doing anything.
Yeah.
Where you feel just like tender. I don't know. It just I don't feel great. And I'm trying to figure out, it's the first time that I've like, not that I've felt this way, obviously, but that I've felt this way being in the healthy mindset of like, I'm not going to change, like, I'm not going to start super dieting or whatever, but I do want to lose weight. So I'm just trying to figure out like, without falling into like my old ways of like being super fucking toxic around like controlling food and like, excessive working out and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I'm just trying to like,
or maybe it'd be helpful to like shift the goal from I want to lose weight to I want to wake up and feel more embodied and feel more empowered in my body rather than wake up and feeling sore and whatever. Or like I want to look better at my clothes, or I want my job. Like maybe we can like reframe just from the concept of like, oh, I need to be smaller, to something a little bit that feels a little bit more aligned. Cause then I think doing all the habits and getting back into the patterns is the hardest part. And it's almost easier to do that with a gentler or nicer perspective on the goal than just like, oh, I should lose weight.
It's honestly so true. And like, I try and do that because especially when like, I'm just thinking about like how I was like in college or something, or like in high school, if I had like a trip or like a party or like whatever, I would like crash diet and do all these things. And then the goal was always like, be smaller, like be as skinny as you can be. That mentality was so fucked because then it was like, when it was done, then I was like, oh, now I can like binge or now I can do whatever because like that was the goal. I accomplished it. Whereas like now my goal is like, I just want to feel good.
Exactly.
So that I think is like a more sustainable way of living because it's like, why would you not want to feel good? So like if I just get into the routine and then like remember like how this makes me feel,
Yeah.
then like, you know, I won't fall out of it as frequently. That's at least my goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally hear you though. It's interesting when you're because I went through that too when I first got with Aaron and I gained the love chub and then wanted to be healthier
Mhm.
again. And it was kind of the same thing. It was like my first time as an adult being in such a healthier and happier mind space, but being like, oh, okay, like my body doesn't feel good. I do need to make some changes again, but it's the first time I'm approaching it healthfully. Like, what does this look like? What does this feel like? Yada, yada, yada. I think I mean, obviously you're doing all the right things and like taking it slowly and, rewriting the way you're, like everything you just said. It's an interesting space to be in. I'll say that for sure. And I'll also, even Maddie, when she was here this weekend, we were talking about how Maddie and I like to talk about how no one shares with women that, you're going to go through a second puberty and a third and a fourth.
Mhm.
And then you get older. And like my mom talks about, like, oh, when you're young, you think like, I need to be smaller. I'm gaining weight because I'm in college. But then when you're older, you're like, oh, those full cheeks, like my face
Mhm.
hollows out. Like our bodies just change so, so much. So just
Yeah.
learning to find a rhythm with them and ebb and flow and lean into routines or ease up on routines based on where you're on in life and what feels good. Like it's so much more pronounced and more weighted, and you have to be so much more thoughtful when you have a past of disordered eating or
Mhm.
binge dieting or chronically working out or just like a lot of self-hate, which I know both you and I have gone through a lot. So it'll be an interesting time. Definitely take it slow. Definitely be gentle with yourself. I mean, obviously, you know that you see it in yourself more than anyone else would. Like, I
Right.
don't think one person is gonna look at that photo of you and see it, but that's also not helpful if you're the one that doesn't feel good. You know what I
Right,
mean?
that's
So
the
just like
thing. Because, like, you and Aaron have such a sweet and special relationship, like, how was that for you when you, like, made that decision to switch? Like, was he supportive of you? What did you even have the conversation with him? Like, for people listening who, like, maybe I don't know.
yeah, no, we both talk about it constantly, and what's interesting is we both did it at different times. Like, I think I did it first, and the thing that genuinely made the biggest switch for me was Alyssa Vitti's book. It
Mm,
was, like, that time when I started cycle syncing and living with my cycle, and, like, that wasn't a concept to me, and I was intermittent fasting and doing lots of HIIT
brutal.
workouts and all this shit, and so what's interesting is, like, coming back to something that felt good and looking better in my body and feeling better in my body meant eating whatever the fuck I wanted and stopping working out. Like, for me, I was
Mm,
doing the opposite way, but holding on to a lot of weight because of it. But and then I kind of like leaned into that and got lax and found my own little groove for a little bit. And then he started running a lot and was losing weight a lot really quickly and then stopped. Like we've both kind of gone back and forth and we're both supportive of each other in it. I think I nag him, to be quite honest, a lot more about like his sugar intake and his health than he nags me because one, I'm the one that like makes meals at home. I cook for
mhm.
us because it's my favorite thing to do and I'm a better cook. So I'm the one that nags him more, but also because every fucking member of his family on both sides has diabetes and
Mm,
mine doesn't.
okay.
So for me, it's more like I know we have diabetes. I know there's like a history of heart health issues
Mhm.
in your family. Like, so I want you to be around for a very long time. Like, so I know I nag him more about it, but I also have never, I don't know. I still try to be so loving and accepting, and I know he'll do it on his own time in whatever way feels good to him, and it's his body, not mine. And like, I love the person inside of it. I don't care what it looks like,
Right.
to be honest. I just want him to be healthy so he's around for a very long time. So I
Right.
think we're both open about it. We both communicate our goals, and then we'll try to like help support each other with our goals, whether that looks like, me prepping breakfast for him so he can go work out when he wakes up at fucking 4 in the morning every morning or whatever it is. But yeah, man, it's so different. And I also think it's interesting to discuss with your partner, especially if your partner's of the opposite sex, because what you want to do in order to feel better in your body might be like extremely different. Like the meals you prep and what you want to eat and when. Like for me and Aaron, it ended up being like having more meals apart because I wanted to eat so differently than him and what made me feel good and whatever,
I
whatever.
would
So it's just,
love I'm glad you said that because I would love to have this conversation with, like, just, like, anyone, like, in a queer relationship because
mhm.
I love that you said that because I was literally thinking about it this weekend. So, my boyfriend and I went to go get food the other day, and we were, like, waiting outside for our table to be ready, and I was, like, leaning up against him, and he was, like, holding me and, like, like, grabbing certain parts of my body, whatever. And as much as and I wanna talk about this later because it leads into something else of, like, as much as I've never been in a relationship where someone makes me feel this fucking good inside of my body, and, like, I've let that man squeeze parts of my body that, like, I've never thought I would, like, let someone squeeze. Like,
Oh,
he
yeah,
can d
yeah, yeah.
like, I feel very safe, but I still sometimes,
Mhm.
like, I'll clench or I'll tighten, or like he grabs a piece of my stomach and like I'll flex. Like I still have those reactions. And there was a lesbian couple next to us hugging the same way that we were. And it literally, that exact fucking thing went through my brain. I was like, I wonder if she clenches. I wonder if she clenches her stomach when her girlfriend touches her stomach, because I wonder, and I would love to hear from you guys if you're in same-sex relationships, if that is like a different type of thing for you guys, where like, because you have the exact same body parts, or like you have the exact same, like women, like we just hold more fat. Like whether or not you choose to have children, like your body is built to bear children. So you're going to have more fat. So you're able to fucking do that. I don't know, I'm rambling about it, but like, I love that you said that, because I was literally just fucking thinking about this. I was like, I wonder if they feel more comfortable.
I'm trying to think of past experiences, because I haven't dated women, but I've had sexual experiences with women. I don't know. I think it's like, I think at least for me in my head, it was like, if I was insecure or self-aware, I'm going to be doing the same reactions. But I also see what you mean in terms of like, maybe it'd be easier to lean into that healing and let that go when someone's like,
no, I get it too.
Understands that all fucking labias look different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that like basic understanding of like, yes, obviously everyone's nipples look at it. Like just different understanding of the same. And that's a very interesting point. We should absolutely talk to someone about that.
Yeah.
A queer nutritionist?
Yeah.
Are you out there?
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking about that. We wanted to do like an audience question to like wrap this up. And it kind of ties into what we were saying now about Meadow and I having partners who like make us feel really good and beautiful in our bodies. Which, by the way, this was something else that I wanted to share with you, because this was a big issue in my last relationship, and I feel like you're going to be proud of me.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Both of the people, my ex-boyfriend and my current boyfriend, are both athletes. We can all laugh. Haha, whatever. The point is, that in my last relationship, I felt like, whether or not the man was doing it intentionally or not, like this isn't a taking a shit on him session, I felt like he would like shame me a lot in like the way that I would work out. Like he would think that like Pilates was like not a workout, like, and whatever. And like we would do a hike together, and like we'd get to the top of the hike and he'd be like, all right, like now do sit-ups and do push-ups and do like all like do squats, like do all these things. And like none of it was enjoyable. Like we worked out together like once, and like we got into a fight. Like I felt so he told me that if I started working out with his trainer, my body would be insane. Like it was just, do you know what I mean?
I remember. Yeah.
So it was like really fucking triggering for me. Like I'm now dating someone who like looks like he's like sculpted by the gods. Like he's not only a beautiful man, but like his body's fucking insane. And he takes a lot of pride in that, in the fact that like he likes to feel good. He also had body struggles, and like I hope he doesn't mind that I'm sharing that. Like when he was younger, like he went through, because men also go through body stuff.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Aaron, I know he is comfortable with me sharing this. Aaron, because he talks about it all the time, literally has never felt stable. Like he's like, I'm either so fucking ripped and on it and skinny and so regimented, or I'm just big. And I've just gone like this. Like every other time my friends would not see me for a while, I would be one or the other, one or the other, one or the other. Like he talks about like even men struggle with like finding that balance and consistency. Anyway, continue.
Especially when they have the expectation that like we think like, oh, they can lose weight so much faster. And then if they don't, like then there's that whole shame placed upon them. No, for sure. But anyway, the point is that like he makes me, like my current boyfriend, like just makes me feel all of the things that I was insecure about before me even saying anything about them. Like he would point them out of like, I'm obsessed with this. Like I'm obsessed. I love this. And he wasn't doing it in a way where it was like he genuinely means it. Like it's not like I like pointed it out and he's like trying to make me feel good.
Know.
Exactly.
He doesn't know which one is your trigger spot or whatever.
So the thing that I'm like working through is like, we talked about it the other day, and I like feel like we're actually gonna end up working out together soon, which like doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's a really big deal for me, because like, and he told me, he was like, I haven't brought it up because I know what happened with your ex, and like I just don't want to trigger you. Yeah. And I was like, no, I think I just love doing shit with him, and I feel like I would love it. Like I think it'd be so fun.
I think you guys would have so much fun.
Also, like we went on our first hike together, and like it did make me feel a lot better, because like he plays baseball and he's a pitcher, so like obviously he's really in shape, but like man's, like you're standing still.
When you texted me that, Aaron and I were laughing so fucking hard because we also went on a hike last weekend. You were like, oh yeah, he's a pitcher. So, we walked from the parking lot to the bottom of the hill, and he was like, all right, time to go. We were laughing so
No, it
hard.
Made me so happy that like fucking homeboy was just as winded as I was. Like we were both like, it was amazing. It made me so happy.
And he loves Pilates. He's been to Pilates with you and loves Pilates. I'm trying to get Aaron, I've taken 2 reformer classes, and it's my entire personality now. And I'm trying to get Aaron to come with me now.
Yeah, Meadow is officially a reformer. a reformer lady.
This is why it's fun for anyone like me that has always worked out at home with YouTube because it's free. And why would anyone pay for a gym? Let me tell you, when you're slipping and sliding up on a machine, it goes by. Like when I work out at home, I feel like I work out for 20 minutes and I'm like, it's
7
been
hours.
ages. I'm so fucking over it.
Yeah.
It's like 45 minutes fucking flies by because I'm playing. I'm playing on a machine that's like moving and grooving and doing different things. And there's people like, it makes it go by so much faster. It's so much fun. And I just have to tell you really quick, slight tangent, because I went to my second one on Sunday. Gabby, this lady must have been at least in her 70s. Okay. The instructor kicked my fucking ass. I was laughing so hard in the class. I thought it was inappropriate because I was laughing out loud so hard. The speed at which this chick moved from like thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, like it was so quick. And my friend that I go with was like, what's nice is once you start going, it's almost like yoga. Like it's the same flow every time. So once you know her moves, you know what to expect. But I was like, I've barely been on a reformer in my life. And she is like, I was laughing in the class because I was like, I can't keep up with
also,
you.
if she's older,
like 75.
If she's older, then she definitely is like OG. So it's like the old school way of doing it, which is like really, really precise and really hard. Like they're not getting funky.
And it was so fast. And we were like, it was my first time standing up on the reformer and having one foot and moving the other foot with
Scary place to be.
And then like, I was just and she came up to me afterwards and I was like, Lynn, you kicked my ass.
Lynn.
And she was like, oh no. It was so funny. Lynn.
Wow.
Oh, it was so much fun. But so I'm definitely not taking Erin to that one. I'll start with my other girl.
Yeah. Maybe start with like a mat.
Calmer and easier.
Like I've been doing, over reformer. I just didn't like what it did to I didn't like how my body reacted to it. And I frankly like didn't enjoy the class. Like I always found that like, yes, you can modify, but my experience was like, then I'm either not doing enough or I'm overextending. Because reformer is one of those things where like, if you're not doing it, you're going to fall. So like, you better figure it out.
I think that's why I like it because all of my classical ballet training comes back. So I know exactly how to hold my body and what it should feel like. And I also feel like they do less reps than if I'm on a mat. Like if I'm on a mat, my fucking legs are doing circles for hours. Whereas like I feel like we do 5 reps on each side and move to a different type of Like I'm still getting exsore. I was still very sore.
No,
I don't know. Something about it just is working for me.
No, on the reformer, you're working little muscles. You wake up sore in places that you didn't even know you had on your body.
Yeah, that happened to me. That happened to me. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, that was a very long tangent. What were we talking about?
Our great boyfriends.
Our listener.
Oh, but our listeners.
Our great boyfriends and our listener question.
Okay, so we got one listener question. Do you want to explain what it was?
Yeah, it was basically about how, I think just following up with the Sex with Emily episode, it was someone asking about how they come from a culture that is not sexually open whatsoever. And they've tried to have experiences speaking, it was a woman, and they try to have experiences like talking with their mom about bodies and sex and this and that. And it's always so dismissed to the point where they internalize a lot of shame. And then when dating opportunities come up or someone wants to sleep with them, it's like hard for them to kind of like own that power and own that sexuality and lean into it and escape the shame that follows them from cultural and familial expectations, especially when it comes to how different people's body looks, just like all the nuance and nooks and crannies that people don't really discuss in sex. And it makes them less open or less confident in communicating with partners because of it.
Right. Thoughts. So initial thought when Meadow said this to me and she told me the question before we started recording and I was like, I don't know if this is like aggressive or mean. And she was like, no, I think the same thing. So I feel good about it. Let me bring out my little notes. Okay. I think it's really unfortunate when our families and people that we love and look up to and respect don't hold space for us the way that we want them to. And I think it's really unfortunate when like they don't think the same way that we do. That said, I think if you're an adult, you're out of the house, whatever, we shouldn't be in the business of trying to change people. I think it's such a waste of energy. And I understand how that can sound really, like I can see the irony in it because of what I do for a living, what Meta does for a living. I see it, but I'm not trying to sit here and argue with someone whose mind is never going to change. I would like to be an expander and provide other perspectives and points of view to hopefully expand your view but I am not in the business of changing you. I don't have the energy. There's much more valuable things that I could be doing with it. The ROI just doesn't make sense to me.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I'm working through the same, I'm saying this with such direct harshness because I am working through this exact thing with my parents right now and with my family right now. So I hear you. It's fucking infuriating and frustrating. If I were you, I would focus less on, you know, working through that conversation with mom, like the way that, you know, she has been because she is an adult and like we know that about her. And I would focus more on like unlearning and moving through the shame to then how that shows up in your present life with current partners, which the Sex with Emily episode does talk a lot about, like moving through shame, sex after any sort of trauma, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which I can speak to.
And communication tips.
And communication tips as well. I think that episode was super fucking helpful. And by the way, I think for people listening who like don't even know where to start, it's a really valuable episode because Emily lays out really tangible, like actual actionable tips where like if you're uncomfortable creating your own verbiage, like she sort of lays it out for you, which I think is really helpful. And so I can speak more on the how to move through that, but I wanted to hear your opinion on the family thing.
I love everything you said so much. And I think it's a different subject. It's not about sex, but when it comes to like giving people a little insight onto how that perspective has worked for us, this happened to me literally yesterday. So I, since moving back to San Diego and being closer to my mom, have, you know, gotten a lot closer to my mom emotionally too. And she is someone who we like really see eye to eye on a lot of things and then are exact fucking opposites about a lot of things. And I think for a long time in becoming an adult, and especially when you like lose one parent and then have to just lean on another, like I really wanted my relationship with her to look a certain way. And I wanted her to like see my side of things. And I was always in college, I was very fucking harsh about my perspectives and wanted to fight about them and wanted her to see my way and whatever. And since moving back and being closer with her, I've really relinquished that. And I've just been like, you know what? Like she is who she is. Like I just want to have a relationship with her and enjoy my time. And I've focused less on changing her, like you said. And last night, for the first time in my entire life, when it comes to a subject that it's not sex, but it's a subject between us that I know for a fact she's never once been honest with me about. And we're open about how she like hides shit from me, does not talk to me about it. Like we have huge boundaries about it. It's one of our biggest issues as a family. Not like an issue between us, but it's like a big core wound for everyone involved, whatever. And something happened with that yesterday, and we were speaking to it a little bit. And she was like, well, I'm going to tell you a secret. Can I tell you something? It's a secret, something I haven't told anyone. And she told me basically like a dilemma she's having with like a decision she's making in this area and just kind of left it at that. And I hung up and told Aaron, I was like, that's the first time my mom's ever been honest with me at this capacity. And it was so cool because I feel so strongly that she should take a certain course of action. Like it is so fucking clear to me what the right answer is. And you know what I did? I went, well, you know, I think a more extreme version than you when it comes to this, but like, thank you for sharing with me. Like, I'm glad that's not my issue to deal with. Like, that's all I could say. Like, I literally said that to her. I said, thanks for sharing with me. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision, but you know, here to talk it out. If you want to know my vote, call me back. Like, I didn't even say anything to do with it because I was so fucking stoked that we've got into a place where like, that level of honesty I've never seen before. And I would much prefer accepting her for who she is and working with the constraints of our relationship to have an honest and open one than to have some sort of subject be blocked off.
Ooh, that is such a good point.
And it made me feel so good. It made me feel so much closer to her. It made me so much more excited. And quite frankly, to be manipulative about it, the way to like really expand in the way that you're saying, rather than change people's minds, but really expand people to like other ways of thinking and growing is when you like approach with a lot more kindness and a lot slower. It's the long con. So I'm like, if I really care about her and, you know, want her to be the best for herself, whether that looks like some way I agree with or not, like all I can do is be supportive and thankful for the space that she shares with me and thank her for the communication and like call it a day. She can watch what decisions I make. I can watch hers, and it's been really nice.
It's been really happy. I mean, it's been really happy. I've been really happy watching your relationship with your mom flourish the way that it has lately.
You've seen it change a lot.
Yeah, I've seen it change a lot.
has been a lot the past couple of years too, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you made such a good point. It
It's just
really
really
is a
cool.
long con, and I love when Meadow shows her manipulative, people-pleasing side because it's so true. It is a long con, and, like, you all know, I did it in dating. My favorite thing to do is to make people think something was their decision. Like, it's hilarious
Oh
to
my
me. I
God.
feel like it's a
It's
fucking
so
sport,
fun.
and I win
Yeah.
every time. And
Yeah.
so if you have any questions about that in the future of, like, how to get someone to ask you out and they think it's their idea,
How to
I
manipulate someone
have
to thinking
so
it's
many
their idea to
answers.
ask you out.
Mhm. But,
You could
like,
write the
we were
book.
planning it. When Taylor Swift came out with that
Yeah.
song Mastermind and all those girls on TikTok started making videos to it, showing their experience of how, like, they got their boyfriends, I was like, "Yes, sister, you are not alone."
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But yeah, you're approaching it with kindness because then people are gonna hear you. Even if they don't think they're listening, they're gonna hear you. And if you're just chipping it away, I do it with my
Mhm.
sister all the time. I do it with my sister all
Mhm.
the time. I'll say
It's like
something to her.
sculpting a
I
gorgeous
will say a quick little pass to her, like, comment to
uh-huh.
her. A year
Start.
later, she'll call me, "Oh, I just did this, this, and this." And I'm like, "No way, that's amazing. Wow."
Where'd you get that
Yep.
idea?
Told you a year ago.
Yeah.
Mhm. For
It's
sure.
fun. Anyway, I think, yeah, I think that's the good thing to take with mom. Do you want to say one or two of your favorite tips of overcoming shame to like empower your sexuality?
Yeah. I think I to be honest, okay, I don't think I've ever talked about it this way on here. I am a very
Mm,
sexual person. Like, I'm a very sexually inclined human. I've always been that way since I was a teenager. Because of that, I've always been really curious about my body and, like, things like that. The process that I have gone through in the last year after that breakup,
mhm,
which is so interesting because it was so not traumatizing, that really, you know what I mean?
mhm,
Compared to, like,
mhm,
my
mhm.
previous relationship. Like, there was sex stuff with
Absolutely.
there that I had to work through and that I am still working through. Um, but that didn't have anything to do with my body. That had to do with, like, or sorry,
Dynamics.
it had to do with my body in the sense of, like, I felt like my body was not mine. Um,
Mhm, mhm,
but in this previous relationship, it had to do with, like, physically what I looked like and felt like.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
if it's more so from that perspective, like, it's a lot of it has been getting to know myself more and, like, becoming more curious with my own body and, like, looking in the mirror and, like, lifting things and looking and being like, "Ooh, that's there," and, like, "Ooh, who
Mhm,
knew?"
mhm.
So, like, getting to know, I would really start there of just, like, getting to know and getting really comfortable with yourself, and then from there, like, if you're moving into, like, partner play and, like, bringing in somebody else into your little sacred space that you've created for yourself, I think it's really about being really selective with, and this is not me telling you, like, not to go fuck a bunch of people. If you wanna fuck a bunch of people, fuck a bunch of people. Fuck a bunch of people who, like, you know that
Are
you're in
aligned with you.
control, yes, of the situation. Like, it's like it's your sacred temple. Like, don't bring someone in
Mhm.
who is gonna infiltrate it and bring you negative shit.
There's an energetic exchange with sex, and
For sure.
that's undeniable. So,
Yes, and,
you
like,
like sleep with whoever you want, and you don't need a relationship with them, but make sure
mhm,
they're aligned in
mhm.
terms of
Yeah,
yeah, sacred temple. Keep going.
and the other thing I'll say about it, because I wanna hear your perspective on this a lot, I really feel strongly about what I just said about, like, bringing people the right people in,
Yes.
but on top of that, if you wanna look at it from, like, a mind game sort of way, because, like, we love to do that as well, there is nothing hotter than someone who is super fucking confident in their body,
Mhm.
and there have been times where, like, I, had gained a little bit of weight or I was whatever in this past year, and I was having sex with someone, and I guarantee you that every single person that I had sex with in the past year, each one of them told me, like, "It is so hot how confident you are in your body." Like, that
Oh,
phrase.
I remember hearing that from everyone on the roster.
So, all of the things that I could have been insecure about, the extra thing here, the squeeze there, what does this look like at that angle? Like, they're not paying attention to that because they're
Mhm.
just too focused on how hot you are. And I know
Exactly.
who asked this question, you're fucking hot. So, like,
Exactly.
I don't know. You fake it till you make it in that way too, where, like, no
Yeah.
one is noticing the little random things that you're noticing. And by the way, if they do, fuck that hoe. Like
Yeah.
Meadow said, it's an energetic
They're not your
exchange.
yeah. And that's why, like, doing some good filtering for that energetic exchange before they make it to your bedroom can help minimize that process. I so agree with everything you said. Like, I think I grew up, speaking of my mom, I grew up with a mother that was like, you take the hand mirror and you check out every one of those holes,
Mhm.
look at your labia, look at your clit, like, find out where everything, like, women that have not stared at themselves in the hand mirror, I baby,
Yeah.
I want you to put this on pause.
Go right
don't
now.
even finish the fucking podcast. Go right
Yeah.
now. Like it is
Take a mirror.
important.
Mhm.
It's important. And it's important because everybody looks different and
Mhm.
vaginas are like flowers. I have been out at a bar with a girlfriend whose name I won't say, but I don't think she would care. And we peed in front of each other. I was raised in a naked family, so I'm very open. Gabby can tell you I'm naked in front of everybody. Like, look at the way she laughs. Like, when am I ever not naked walking around your house? I was raised in a naked family, and I was peeing with a girlfriend at a bar once, and she literally looked at me and she goes, "Spread your lips," and she was like, "Not these lips, like spread them." Like, why does your clit look like that? Why does your labia look like that? That's so cute. Mine looks like this. Like, everyone's looks different, and that's what's cool, and that's what's fun, and that's what's interesting. But I think if you're from a culture and community that's not open and talking about that, the way that we expand is by finding other people that do.
Mhm.
And to bring it full circle, when you were talking about Instagram and follows that you really like, one of my favorite people to follow is Taylor Giovanis.
Oh, she's
I love
great.
her. Love her so much. I bought my rugs from her. Thank you so much, Taylor, if you're watching. But she runs a different account. Fuck. What is it
Do you want me
called?
to look at her
All
profile?
Bodies? Yeah, Natural All Bodies or something like that. She runs an account that's basically showing cellulite and this and that. Like, there's so many Instagram accounts
The
that
Naked
talk
Diaries.
about this. The Naked Diaries. There's so many different Instagram accounts that
What happened? What? I'm right here. Oh no. Hold on.
What was I saying?
I don't know because I got scared. Taylor Giovanis' account.
Oh yeah, sorry. For everyone, we just had another technical difficulties recently.
We're gonna wrap it up soon.
We're gonna wrap it up anyway. Well, all I was saying was another way to expand your brain rather than focusing on changing the parents or the people in your life that aren't necessarily willing to have these conversations right now. Tap into communities that will. Like, check in with the fucking TMV squad. Go on Patreon and talk about it. Go look at Taylor Giovanis' account. Like, find people online. That really makes me, it helped me find a lot of comfort speaking to friends and just like seeing different accounts talk about it too, or YouTube channels, or honestly watching birth vlogs. Like, once you start hearing like what
Yes.
Once you start watching birth vlogs
so
and like
mommy
hearing about the
content right
process,
now.
dude, the mom content, first of all, I've always been on mommy content. I'm obsessed. Second of all, I think it's genuinely helped me because obviously neither of us have been pregnant before. I think it's genuinely helped me like respect and love my body in a different way. Because you watch these women like go through the same struggles we do, have a kid, and then be like, my body is so fucking amazing and what it can do. Like, I'm so sad that I ever had this perspective. And simply watching that click for other people in a very extreme way can really give some insight to you. In the same way the fucking surrender experiment had me surrender to my catalytic converter getting stolen. Like, you don't have to go through something yourself to get a lesson from it.
I have an idea.
Tell me.
To wrap this episode up, while we're gone on the hiatus, obviously the content will be on Patreon, but why don't we share some of our favorite people on the internet for people to go binge?
I love that. Okay, but I didn't come prepared, so can I look?
Yeah, should I start? Because I have people top of mind. Because I told you, everyone's frustrating me on the internet.
Are we
except for,
talking
like, a handful of people? I'm not talking
YouTube
just
or
about
Instagram?
Both.
Or TikTok? Oh my
Both.
God, oh my God,
All
oh my
three.
God, oh my God.
All three. I don't have TikToks. I mean,
yeah, I don't really have a lot of people. Okay, Sophia Kelly,
I have a couple. Okay.
Lexi
so
Lombard, follow her YouTube.
Make a list.
Okay, sorry. I'll start.
Okay. Lexi Lombard, we can both get behind. At Lexi has YouTube, Instagram, podcast, all the things. We love Lexi. Meadow and I, big It's Blitz fans.
Oh my God.
I've been watching all of her mommy content now.
I have been too. Julia,
Please
I love you
podcast.
more than life itself. Your ASMR has put me to sleep and cured my anxiety more times than I could tell you. Her mommy content, can't handle.
She has such strong arms. Have you ever noticed in her vlog, she doesn't put her camera down?
Yeah, she does have very strong arms. That's smart. I didn't think about that.
We love It's Blitz. We love Taylor.
We love Taylor Giovanis.
Yes. We love Desi Perkins.
Oh, we love
If I could like
Desi
become
Perkins.
another human being, like Desi, sorry, like taking your skin
It's
suit
you.
and like becoming you.
It's you.
I'm obsessed with you and your little family. Fellow Latina. I think the fact that her child is running around their house screaming puta madre is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I haven't seen that yet.
I send my boyfriend the videos every single day.
Leor Alexandra for spirituality content while you miss me.
Yeah,
love.
you sent me her stuff.
That's on YouTube. She's on YouTube.
I have our bucket list up here on the wall, so I'm like looking at it.
Oh, do you?
Who do we love?
Moya Mawini. Her vlogs are a absolute work of art. She's friends with our good friend Sophia Kelly. Moya, your vlogs are a work of art.
Duh.
Well, duh.
Sophia Kelly, we love. Okay, we had a hot take, not a hot take, but like interesting. We love Colleen Ballinger now.
That's
how we feel.
Yeah, we're not in the same style of performance that she's in, but the vlogs and the mommy content, sign us
I'll
up.
take it. Who else?
I mean, to be quite honest, my comfort YouTube is It's Judy's Time because I've literally been watching her since
Never
2008.
watched.
She's been daily vlogging deadass since she got engaged in 2008, and I remember, and now they have 5 daughters.
Holy shit.
And they're just really cool. Like they I don't know, they're just a very cool down to earth family. They clearly make multi-millions, like 7 figures on YouTube because they talk about it in their book, and they still live in the same house, like barely buy $5 creamer. Like I just think there's someone that's so cool that are so unaffected by influencer life, yet are some of the like longest standing video influencers that I've ever heard of. Tell me, who did you think of?
Okay, I have people. I think I've talked to you about them, and I have such commentary. I can't remember. Oh, I found them because I think Megan Rinks had like mentioned them one time. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I love them. They're like the Gilmore Girls of the fucking internet. Jenica and Annika. Find them on YouTube. They live like right outside of Nashville. They're like very Southern Tennessee girls, and it's a mother-daughter duo.
Okay.
The mom had her when she was like 13.
Wow.
So, and her daughter is like 16 years old.
Okay.
So it's their dynamic, and it's their like vlogging, and they're so fucking cute, and like their dynamic is so adorable, and they're
I don't
just
know
so
them.
like,
I'm so excited to watch.
they're so, I say this with so much love, but they're just like 2 basic white girls. That's like, it's so entertaining to watch. And like, I mean it in like a really wholesome way. Like they're really like, they're so fucking excited. It's like pumpkin spice latte season. Like they're like first in line at Starbucks.
Yeah.
And like, they're so excited about it. And like, I just love the excitement. Also like YouTube just became Jenica the mom's full-time job.
Wow.
And like we've watched them like she had her daughter at 13 years old. They came from like a normal family, you know, like she's been working her ass off, living in like this apartment with her daughter, like trying to provide for her daughter. And like, it's been really cool to see like the exact, like I watch all of their ads. I'm like, take my money, Jenica. Like they're that family that like you want to see win. And it's so wholesome. And like, they go to New York together for the weekend. Like everything is so exciting. And like, sometimes like, people just have become, myself included, have become so cynical. Like it's fun to be cringe. Like it's funny. Okay, I love it. And so they're just wholesome fucking content.
I've been wanting to talk about this on the pod for so long, and we're not going to because this episode is already long. But Riley Nelson and I, one of my best friends, Riley, we have had a conversation about how growing up is realizing that being a simp is so much fun. Like being cringe, being a simp, being a fan of something, being too excited about something because it's not cool. Like it is so much fun. It is life's biggest joy. Like, don't let anyone yuck your yum. And if they do, we're unconcerned. Their opinion doesn't affect us anyway. Like, let them throw and project whatever judgment they want on us because I'm not embodying it. Who cares? You can think whatever you want about me. It ain't my business. It is so much fun to romanticize the mundane and just be so happy about the little things. I cannot wait to go binge their content.
No, you're going to freak out. They're so fun.
I'm so excited.
God, I have them in the background all the time. We should send them a hat because Jenica, the mom, wears so many trucker hats. We should send them a hat.
Shut up. Okay, let's do it.
I think they'd be like, I mean, they get so much stuff, but I feel like they're always like excited. Like it's like fun.
Let's send them one. I would love to.
Maybe we'll have them on the podcast. If anybody else loves them, like.
And then everyone else
it's very off-brand for me.
Is it? I'm so excited. I mean, it sounds like it.
It's so off-brand for me. I'm excited for you to watch it. It makes me just happy. Look how I'm smiling fucking talking about these 2 girls. I'm like, I love them. They're so cute.
I can't wait. Well, everyone let us know what other people that you like to follow, anyone that you want on for season 3. Let me know what YouTube videos I should film if I start doing that.
Yeah, I think you should because, by the way.
I think you should. What happened to your YouTube channel? I loved your YouTube. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Thank you. I don't know. It was just too personal. Yeah. No, but I think that you should because the content that you're going to be, first of all, you are so good at editing and you love doing it. It like feeds your soul. A. B, you've talked about this where like you've had people tell you like, oh, but like people aren't consuming that. The people that like you're trying to reach do. Wouldn't they be consuming the type of content that you're consuming?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you watch YouTube all the time.
That's
you
true.
have your YouTube people that you watch all the time.
YouTube has been like
you're not
my
just gonna be
friend
doing
for so long. That's so sad, bitch.
Yeah, I think you should do it. I think everyone go flood her DMs with why Meadow should bring back the YouTube channel.
Follow me on YouTube. I archived all my old videos because speaking of being cringe, I was like, oh my God, my old videos are so cringe. So I archived them. But I also was, when I was like looking at them and watching them, I was like, man, girl, like you are cringe, but like, I'm so proud of you. Like,
It's
despite
fine.
being scared,
It's
like, at
fine.
least I did something. At least I did something that I wanted to
Yeah.
do and try. Like, I'm proud of myself for even doing it, you know? Everyone go follow us on YouTube
Same,
and maybe
sister.
we'll start posting. Just saying.
Yeah, let us know what you'd want to see. Because I'm not opposed to it. I'm like, I don't really know what I want to share. And so I
Yeah.
don't want to share.
I was thinking of vlogging
Do you
when
know
I
what I
come up
mean?
there in 2 days. Maybe we could do it because you and I are going to be hanging out. Maybe we'll do a cutie little vlog.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is such a fun way to end season 2. I love this.
Thank you everyone for listening to season 2. I hope you had
Yeah.
fun. I think just to give a little insight, like every season, every time we take a break to come back with the season, it gives Gabby and I and Kay on our team just like the time to kind of hone in, level up, like clean up our internalized systems, get more excited. And like we've done it again. Like I think you and I are already getting really excited about season 3 and how we have things organized and looking at things in a different way. And so it's just really nice to be able to take breaks and have healthy boundaries and also come back with like newer ideas and better systems internally and externally. So we hope you love it.
I'm excited. I'm so proud of us.
I'm so proud of us too.
I'm proud of us.
It's been a whole year. We never even had a birthday party and it's already been a whole year.
We didn't even like say anything.
Maybe we should get ourselves cupcakes when I come up.
Aww,
or like a cake
cute.
or something.
I'm super down.
As we're both like, let's eat less sugar.
Yeah, but like joy, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Joy.
Well, see you all soon.
So
come to the Patreon. We will be ripping over there. And let us know who you want for season 3, babe. We're here to serve.
Think outside the box.
Think outside the box. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening and for supporting us always. It means the most.
We love you all so much.
Buy a hat.
Buy a hat while we're gone.
Some hats are still available.
Tag us. Posting them. Tag us. See you soon. Besos.
Ciao for now.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the Thoughts May Vary podcast every Monday.